She trusted her best friend and it cost her her life. This is Jayna Murray's story. Police arrived at a Lululemon store in Bethesda, Maryland, and the scene was horrific. There was red splattered all over the wall, going down the hallway in footprints. It was horrifying. And in the back room were two women. One of them was unalived. The other, barely making it. She was bound with zip ties, covered in red. She said that two masked men did this to her and her coworker. She said her name was Brittany Norwood, and that coworker was Jana, and Jana was unalived in a robbery gone wrong. Brittany seemed traumatized. She was covered in red, she was shaking, she could barely speak. It was a horrible story, a terrible story, but the perfect story. The only problem was that story was not true. Because Brittany, she wasn't a survivor. She was the person who did this. At first, detectives believed Brittany's story. I mean, how could they not? She was a victim too. She was here covered in red. Brittany was a former soccer player. She was charming, nice, sweet. Everybody liked her. She said that her and Jana were closing the store that night when two men dressed in all black, in masks, entered. They tied them up and then they unalived Jana. Within hours after Brittany told her story, detectives started seeing some cracks and they started pointing the finger at her. The first crack in the story was there was no forced entry here. Every door was locked and nothing was stolen, not even the victims' wallets. Then the forensic techs noticed something very strange. The set of footprints, they were Lululemon shoes. And both pairs of the shoes that created those footprints came from inside the store. There was no unknown prints and no third-party DNA. Only them two. Meaning there was no masked men that did this. Investigators started to see what really happened here. Brittany did all of this herself. The staged robbery of the overturned store, even her own injuries. Her wounds were shallow, and the bindings on her wrist were very easy to get out of. She tied her own legs backwards. When police confronted her about this, she completely froze. And they found out that she had been caught shoplifting from the store the night before. And her friend Jana had found those items in Brittany's bag and confronted her. And really, Brittany was going to get fired, so that would have been the end of it. But not for Brittany. She was facing huge humiliation in her eyes, and she had to do something, and quick. March 11th, 2011, Jana texted the manager on duty and said they had to go back to the store around 10 p.m. because Brittany had forgotten her wallet. This is what paints the timeline. When Jana arrived back at the store, Brittany confronted her, and they got in this huge, big fight. Jana tried to run out of the store, but Brittany caught her and used whatever she could find in the store to unalive her that night. For nearly 20 minutes, she attacked her coworker and friend. Experts say that Jana was conscious through a lot of this, that she knew what was going on and she was fighting back. After Brittany did what she did, she dragged Jana to the back and she started staging the scene like a robbery. She took pairs of shoes from the store and created red footprints all through the store. And then she used whatever she could to stage what had happened and then laid down next to her friend, zip-tied, and waited. She waited all night like that until the next morning when two employees showed up and they couldn't get in, but they heard noises coming from inside. They called law enforcement and that's when they came and found the scene like this. Paramedics rushed Brittany out of the scene and she was saying, thank you, and crying, and everyone believed her. She was even asking how her best friend was, knowing that she was unalived. Laying there with her all night, knowing she was unalived. Forensic experts went through every inch of that scene, and it told a very different story than the one that Brittany was telling. And when confronted with all of this evidence, Brittany just stayed there, cold, staring, not saying a word. In 2012, Brittany Norwood went to trial for first degree. Prosecutors said that she had rage beyond explanation, and the judge only took a couple hours before he came back with a verdict. She was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole. During the sentencing, Jana's family got up and talked to Brittany and said, she believed you were her friend. and you betrayed her. Brittany never apologized. She just stood there staring straight. Jayna Murray was 30 years old. She was about to graduate with 2 master's degrees. This girl was smart. She walked back into that store that night because she cared about her coworker, and her coworker betrayed her. And Brittany Norwood didn't just betray Jana's trust. She shows that you can't trust anyone, not even your best friends. Just remember this when you're at work and you're joking around with your coworker, that not everyone has the best intentions. Post below Jana's name if you made it all the way to the end with me, and please click that follow button so that you don't miss a single video. I post true crime content daily. We'll see you tomorrow.